Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is David and you are here at Build with ServiceNow. First of all, I'd like to apologize to you. I did say I was going to upload videos each and every week. I've been busy with work, family, and a lot of things have happening for the past few months. And so that has really prevented me from not being able to upload videos every week that I did promise. But today I'm here with an exciting topic. I'm here to go through an app I built using the REST API integration, and it's a weather app, and I used a free weather API to implement this. So what I did was to read some documentation about this API, use ServiceNow to retrieve data from this API and then populate them into ServiceNow. But before I show you, if this is the first time you're here at this channel, please do hit that subscribe button, and also don't forget to turn on the bell notification so anytime I upload a video you will get them. So this is my ServiceNow PDI. If you haven't got a PDI, please do get your PDI as an admin or as someone who is starting within the ServiceNow. If you don't have PDI, I think you wouldn't be able to do or practice hands-on. Sorry, my cat is actually trying to get my headphones. Say hello, Luna. Say hello. I want to say hello. Say hello. The best advice I could give anybody starting is actually get hands on the PDI, your personal developer instance, and practice as much as possible. Anything new you learn, I think you have to practice it first and then, get ingrained in your memory. Let's dig straight into this. So the first thing we need to check is which API we would like to integrate within ServiceNow. So what is an API? API is an application programmable interface. The API I'm gonna use, or I use within this app, is called the Weather API, and it's a free API, but they also have a paid version as well, paid subscription tier. So here you go on to create or sign up, and then I've already done that. So I will just log in, and you'll probably just click on here and log in, and then you get to see the interface. So this is how the interface is. When you first log in, you'll see your API key over here, which is quite important for our integration within ServiceNow. But also the first thing that you need to consider is also reading the external API documentation, which can be found in this link over here. So this is it. We need to do a bit of reading to get what we want. So they've got different sort of API. Depending on which one you want to use, you need to read about it. So here are some of the key things to know. And this is a parameter that we need to pay attention to. So these are some of the key parameters that we would need when we are implementing this integration. So a key is equal to, so here will be your API key. So for this demo, what I did use, there's our base URL or our endpoint. So this is where we'll tell ServiceNow to look at, and then this will be the API. Okay. So base API is that, and then we'll put our slash if we want the current weather. So these are all the APIs they've got. If you want to target any of these APIs, you use the based URL first, slash, and then the API method, which is here. So in my demo, what I did use the current API. So after that, we did put in our current.json over there. And so I think that is just much about that. And then when we come to our request parameters, we need some important parameters, and we already saw the key, which is our API key, and then a queue is also required. So what is the queue? So the queue is, for instance, the query parameter location. It could be location, it could be a latitude, it could be a city name, for example, Paris, it could be a zip code or UK postcode. I'm gonna go into my ServiceNow studio. For demo purpose, I'm gonna close this tab and go to my homepage, and then you can see there's a link there to ServiceNow Studio, and I'm going to just click on there. Super, so now that's loaded up. So what I was trying to show you is that once you upload, you open your ServiceNow Studio, this will be the first thing that will pop up, and then you'll have to then select the app that you've been building. So this is custom. So we're gonna go to the weather app, And below we can see the different artifacts, and we know artifacts are the components that makes an application. So in this case, we've got our data, our form, our table, outbound as well. The outbound is what we're looking for. We've got our REST, outbound REST message or integration. We've got security or access control. So these are all like artifacts that makes up my app. But what we're going to focus on, the business rule, the REST message, and also the table and the form. Okay. For this app, the first thing I did was to go into the API documentation and to look at what sort of data or how the data is going to look like and what things to look out for. So this is an example of the response. Okay. And we're looking at the headline. This, for example, this is an Alerts API. So this is within the Alerts API. Okay. I did use the real-time API. So under that, we do have different fields that we need to pay attention to, which is the last updated epoch. I don't know what that is, but here it's given us the fields and the data type that comes with it. So what we need to do is to create a table in ServiceNow, and you can name it whatever table that you want. The weather, not the weather, weather. So this is how it looks like, and you can see we've got some of the fields that is within the API documentation. Okay, so now I created my table, created the fields, and the next thing I did was to create the REST message. The REST message, I put in the name, and because as you can see, the application scope is the weather app, and this is the endpoint, which is the base URL we saw in our documentation. And this is it. So that is already there. Just copy and paste that. Authentication, we're going to leave that because that will be within the API, or we're going to use the API key for that. And then under the HTTP methods, and I think there are a couple of methods within the HTTP. So we've got, I think, get, patch, just to make sure I'm telling you guys the right thing. We can come here to see. So we've got get, post, put, patch, delete, head. So these are some of the type of HTTP methods we can use. Because we are retrieving this data from the current weather, which is this current weather, we already have our base URL, which is this, and then per the documentation, it did say we should add /current.json, and that's exactly what we've done over here. Because we're not putting any other authentication, like I did say, we do have where we need to input the API key, and then a Q. For instance, I've given the value of London. You can put in anything in the documentation as we did read. It could be the name of a place, the city, postcode, an IP address. Don't forget it. Without this, we will not be able to connect to our API. So let's test it to make sure that the connection is right. And we can do that by clicking on this test. So we've got the status of 200, which means that our connection has been successful. And in the response body, we can see location name, London, region, City of London, Greater London, country, which is United Kingdom. So over there, the latitude is there, the time zone ID is there, local time epoch. I don't know what that is. Can someone tell me what that means in the comment section? The local time is there as well. It's telling us, so this basically, this is the data we're looking for, but it's in JSON. Okay, so we need to still do something more to retrieve this JSON body, and we're going to use ServiceNow has already provided us with a starting point with the business rule that is going to retrieve this and put them in the right category, or put them into our fields that we have created within our table. Click the preview script usage. We do have a template to try, and then the name of our API or REST message is within there, and then our table name, and then the default HTTP parameter. Okay, we do already have that, so we can copy this. You can copy this as a starting point. I've already done that, so I will just head to my business rule. So yeah, there's my business rule, get weather details, and I did use the async, insert and update as well for actions. Everything is just done as it is, and then the advanced. So as you can see, when you copy the script usage template, it did start like this and then gives you some options, and I have added my code here, and we can see our set query parameter, which is Q, and that is we assign it to the location or a field within the table. So let's look at our location. That's our location. Okay, so that is the column name, and the column name is the background name that we need, or the correct name that we need to use when we're doing implementation or when we're doing scripting. We can't use the label name like that. We use the backend name or the column name. So I've assigned the Q parameter to the current location, so current.location, and that's that. Now we need to execute the response. Okay, so var, that is that, and we need a response body. We're trying to tell ServiceNow, or we're trying to retrieve what it's within the body, and we've also know what the HTTP status is, which if the connection is right, then let's get the status code as well. Okay, so that is this. Now this is where we're going to pass JSON and retrieve the body, or the data that is within the JSON. We're going to pass that into our ServiceNow backend fields. So again, we've got var response object equals to JSON.parse, and then we have our response body, which is us getting the body. When we did a test, you know what the body that came. So this is it. We're saying we should pass all the object, or all the data that's within the object. We should pass it into our ServiceNow fields that we have. So I started off by creating current.country, and then equals response object. Now we need to dot work. We already know how to dot work within ServiceNow. It'll be the same thing within the API as well. So when we look here, now if you want location, okay, so now we can see the queue is there. If I want location, or if I want the location name, I don't have to put in name. If I put in name, nothing is going to get populated. I need to go through location dot name, and this is exactly how I've done it. Okay, so current, this is the field name, and then the response object dot location dot country. So location dot country, we're telling it to retrieve the country or populate the country into our country field. Okay, and likewise is the same thing I've done for all of it. Okay, the temperature, these are fields that I've populated or created within my table, and match this with the data within the JSON. Okay, I've passed this into my ServiceNow fields that I created. So after that, don't forget to add this one to be within the sample that ServiceNow provided. Okay, once we're done, we save it. Don't forget to obviously design the form as you want. For me, this is what I did. I did put the location, the country, and also add a section about the weather. So if I wanted to add more things, I can divide this into sections on the form. So yeah, the main thing is the location, and you also did say you can put an IP address or anything in there, and that will get populated. Okay. So yeah, this is how it works. And if I should change this to Nigeria and click on save, load, and we can see this is showing as well. The weather is clear in Nigeria. If I should put in a postcode, let's put in a postcode and see, this is UK postcode. I'm gonna see if that works. We can see it's got it right. It has the region or the borough. The local time is there. We've got the time zone as well, and we can see the weather, which is over focused. Super. And this is how it feels like in Fahrenheit, and this is in Celsius. Okay, so it seems everything else is working. Let me just give a fake IP address. I don't know what this is, but obviously again, let's see if we refresh. Oh, okay, good. There we go. That's a South Africa IP address, and we can see this is retrieving every type of data that we put in here about location, and it's all there. So guys, that is how I did this app. And if you have any questions, please put that in the comment section, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll put my LinkedIn details over there. If you have any other questions here, please do reach out to me. All right, thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed again, please do subscribe. Thank you. Bye.